Okay. I'm not sure if this is working or not. Okay, we'll just leave it like that for now. All right. How y'all doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know I've been missing in action. But things do happen in life. That's right, over spilled milk. Anyway, I woke up this morning about 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And I have my astrology chart going on, and it's, live, and at the time, clock's running, planets are moving, all this is going on. And I saw something this morning. I had seen it previously, but at the time, nothing was, I didn't record it. Because I knew it was going to come. And so anyway, you all know my health issues that I got going on. So anyway, I've been noticing something here since really the first of the year, where it was almost like a pre-warning of things that we were kind of being set up for the events to happen. We already knew we went into the year, with planets that were retrograde, and they were going to, be going direct, and we knew that, and stationary, and then begin moving, and they have. And the last one we have here is Uranus, for sure. So anyway, I started noticing some things as I was getting the events, when I was looking at them, and I noticed that the shift began to really change on a certain day, which was January the 20th. I was like, okay. And I noticed this reoccurring event that was centered around Neptune. And it was Neptune being in its ruling sign of Pisces, 12th house. And usually that 12th house has a lot to do with, sometimes it can be losses, sometimes it can be karma. That we deal with in our life due to our own past actions. And I started seeing a trend taking place with this, and I'm going to show you in a minute, because it kind of kicked off when the Sun and Pluto conjoined at exactly 29 degrees and 59 minutes. And that these two planets were going to change their signs. And I found, that was okay. We know that, we've all been talking about it. You've probably heard about it on other astrologies, about in the next 20 years what we will be dealing with. And there will be this change. So it was like preparing us for the change. And if you've been doing a lot of things that you've been going through, difficulties in your life, and all that's been transpiring and happening, such as with myself as well, and there was things that still we needed to finish up, because this was going to move. It was going to be probably a lot of y'all, you're looking at the tarot readings and you're saying, and you're hearing readers say, well, there's a shift coming. There's a big change happening. Yes, there is. But are you really prepared for what is to come? That is happening here. And it's centering around where what we once believed in and what we once set goals toward and our intentions toward. Somehow a lot of that got changed. And we all know we've been going through hell. I'm not gonna, let's not deny it. It's not, the first time this has happened. But I mean, we got a taste of it some time back. But it wasn't as noticeable, I would say. Well, a lot of people probably didn't even pick up on it. We knew that society needed to change. We knew that people needed to change. And that we ourselves have to change. So when this, I said 3 years ago, with what is to come in this coming year, that it was going to be big. It was going to be big. People talk about last year's eclipses and lunar eclipses. We always talk about them and how they, affect us for a few months, 6 months or whatever, and it's gradual and but it's always a sign to show us that something here in our hearts that need to change, in our soul, in our desires, and who we are, and our personality change. And there's an old saying, an old wives' tale saying, that we go through a change every 7 years. Big one. So, yeah, it's coming. The 7 years is here. And life's going to alter. Things won't be the same anymore. If you walked away from certain situations, well, you've lost it. Some of you may try to recover it again. You may not be able to. And but I've been noticing this trend, and I'm going to go ahead and go over to the astrology so we can look at what's going on here. All right. I've got this on the January the 20th date. All right. And we have the moon that was going through, and the moon played a big part in this too, because as you can see, right here, gosh, I don't know where my brain is at this morning. You can see here the sun and Pluto joined together on the 20th at 29 degrees and 59 seconds, or 69 minutes. 59 minutes. What's wrong with me? Also, the moon here was at 29 degrees. Now, if you think the new moon was something, and you think the full moon's something, there's a shift. That moon and sun, right at that direct degrees. And look where the square is pointing to from that moon. There's a trine between the sun here to the moon. Now, we all know that trines are that creative self-expression. It kind of can bring an ease or a comfort, so that we might be missing something. People could have been missing what was happening here. A vision, an insight, something to be with productivity that you could have missed. It was an opportunity, a chance. And remember, when a planet or one of these luminaries, the sun or the moon, when they leave a sign and go into a new one, they're bringing something where they've been that will alter. Now, what we see is we dealing with these with air. You know, we do have the South Node over here in Libra, and it's, you know, retrograde at the time. We have the moon going into Gemini. We have the sun going into Aquarius. And it was all moving into air. What is air? Air is where our thoughts wander sometimes, or where we move. Air doesn't sit still. It moves. It's something is getting things moving here in society. There is a movement happening. Get ready. Get ready. Because now, with everything moving into air, there's a lot of information flowing, a lot of communication going on, a lot of truth coming out. The wind is shifting. Do you get it? Do you understand it? I said this year was going to be powerful 3 years ago. I said I couldn't explain it then, but I had a feeling that it was happening, and it was like an explosion of vivid. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like vivid colors, and it was like sort of a revolution, really, to tell you the truth. It really is, because all I kept seeing 3 years ago was these colors from the 60s, you know, and a lot of stuff there that was happening, um, free love and all this kind of stuff. And, and it was, the Vietnam War was going on. And it was a lot of revolution. And I think people are in my age group, okay, because I'm 65, and in the 60s, I was a young girl, but I experienced what I saw that was happening. The word cool was big, and man was big, and this was big. It was the baby boomers. The elders. I mean, there's still some of the other ones, like my mother and all, that are still around, elders. So, but now, something happened. Something is happening now. And there is a shift. Yes, I know the younger generation wants this and wants that, but darlings, let me tell you, nothing comes free. I don't care what you think, what you want, what you desire. I lived through that, and you don't get nothing for free except a lot of problems. So there was that big movement then, and there's going to be another one again. We got to look at, what happened in the political arena, Nixon, what he did and everything else, and Watergate and everything that was going on there. So there was a revolution, you know. So it's, he was spying on the other, uh, campaign, and now it's turned around. It's come back. So I'm just, I feel like that feeling again that I felt then. So, yeah, there is this change going on where there's flow of information so much more easier and so much more accessible than it ever was before. Our visions have changed. Um, we're in what, 2024? Uh, my time of growing up, um, that's been so many years ago. Um, it's kind of hard to think I've been around that long and seen what I've seen, but it's okay. It's okay because we learned a lot from that. And hopefully, with the younger generation that's going on now, we can help again. That they won't have to experience those painful times. And I see a different type of revolution that's happening. And it's not good, and it's not healthy, and it's out to hurt people. In my day when the revolution happened, feminism and all this stuff, we weren't out to hurt anybody. We were just a loud voice. We weren't out to destroy things. I mean, there was some people, that really did some stupid things, but that was just a small few. It's not like today. Today it's like just violent. We never thought back then to hurt small children. We were about to protect them. Um, I'm not really much of a feminist here, so, um, I've seen some sides of both sides of it. But we have advanced so much that we see where, and I see personally myself, I got to speak for myself, but we see where those things are gone because of technology. And so much more, like I said, information that's so accessible that we need to wise up as people. We need to stop and think and stop and speak our truth and be authentic who we are. Stop hating your country. Stop, it's your political figures. I mean, you can change that by voting. I mean, or the information is now being more successful at flowing the information out there that you can make better choices than it was in my day. I mean, when Vietnam was going on, it was horrible. I had a brother that went there, and it was just horrible to families and the young men that we lost, like we did in everywhere. We don't want that anymore. My generation fought to stop those kind of wars, to live in peace. What do you think? All those artists were at that time. I'm trying to think of the Lovian that came in, that was in upstate New York, and I can't think of the name of it now. But it was all about protesting against war. Yeah, women's rights, the feminine movement, yes, abortion, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? People fought today about Roe versus Wade being done, given back to the states, for the states to decide. And it should be that way. Because when you turn it all over to the government and they get to decide, then that's not right. Each state where you live, you should be able to decide in your state. And the good thing about that is if you don't like what's going on in that state, guess what? You can pick your stuff up and move. You don't have to stay there. So it's kind of crazy, but with technology and birth control and all this stuff that we have now, why do we need that? Why are people fighting for something that happened, oh my God, back in the 60s? I mean, it's crazy. Or the 70s. Why are we doing that? It's unbelievable. Have we become such a society that's so with no values, no integrity? Because that's what I'm kind of seeing here. And it's a shame. But yes, there is going to be this shift. And it's all air. It's thoughts, it's communication, it's information, it's writing, it's publishing, it's all this stuff. And I just heard on the news this morning, New York Times is having a layoff. Well, I guess so. You're a liar. When you put out disinformation, you can't be trusted anymore. And they don't believe this. So what's going on here, and it's happening, yes, this shift started here at this time on the 20th. For society. And while this energy here combined is trying the moon, it's time to change your heart. It's time to change who you are. It's time to be authentic. It's time to be real. It's time to depart from old ways. And it's time to start using your head instead of your emotions. And think for yourself. And the ascendant is here. And it is sextiling Venus. It's the ability to have compassion and empathy and love for our fellow man. Whatever we're seeking here. Because this is fire, it's mutable, but it's to survive. And we as a nation or a people can survive difficult times. But we got to find what it is that our soul is searching for, what we're seeking here. What is it you're seeking? Because there's a lot of people going around. You've heard the zombie apocalypse. I mean, I've heard all this crazy stuff. That's just... And yeah, I guess you could kind of be a zombie if you don't have a heart, and you don't have a soul, and you're just wandering, and you have no purpose in life. Then yeah, and everybody's asking, what is my purpose? And the funny thing about it is that Sagittarius is all about faith. Having faith. To believe in something you cannot see, you cannot touch, you cannot hear, unless you're really listening. But you gotta tune into it to survive it. Because this is not going to be easy. And there's a lot of people that may not. They're so dysfunctional and so out of it, they don't know. They've lost their way. They've lost their purpose. And that's terrible. We've got to turn it around. This country was founded on certain values. Not to be ruled over, not to be controlled, not to this or that. And this is where it is where, where people have stood up and said, no, I don't want to be controlled. I want to be who I am. But you got to remember there's a price and sometimes of pain and karma that comes in for being certain ways. Because like I said, nothing is free. And if you think it's free, even your freedom is not free because you have to fight for it. Your rights are not free. You have to stand up and fight for it. Do you get it now? It is not anything in this world that is free. You pay in some way. You lose in some way to gain something more. And like I said, this was going to be an explosive year. And a lot of you have been having dreams. I'm getting back into where I'm having dreams again, you know? And I don't like them. I mean, kind of scary, but, of what the dreams I have. But I say listen to your dreams because sometimes that's the way spirit talks to us, connects with us, is in our dreams. Remember, and I'm going to throw a little Bible thing in here, and I know some of y'all are going to be turned off by it, and that's okay. I'm not, not just telling you a story of a king, Nebuchadnezzar, who had a dream. And all of his fortune tellers and foreseers and all could not tell him his dream. So they knew that they were fake and phony. They'd just been, appeasing the king. So he tested them and said, I had a dream. What is my dream? Tell me what my dream was. They couldn't do it. But one came along that was Daniel, who did tell Nebuchadnezzar what his dream was. And he saved people's lives by being able to do that. And how did he do it? He believed and had faith in his God, the one true God. And he was given a vision, a dream. He was given Nebuchadnezzar's dream to tell him what was going to happen, what was to come. This is where you've got to have that faith. And it's got to be a strong faith. Listen to your dreams because Spirit is trying to talk to you. And that's your connection with the divine. Each one of us have our own, we don't all have the same dream. So listen to your dreams because they're coming. They're going to come. Mine, like I said, I didn't dream for a while. I'm started dreaming again. Some of them are stronger than others. Some of them could just be a little short message or something there that says, I have something for you, but I'm just going to give you just a taste. So anyway, I'm getting back to this. I noticed this with Neptune. And we have a square from Neptune over to Venus. We have a square from Neptune over to Vesta. And we have this square right here that's dealing with the ascending, what was coming up. It was like a warning. The moon squaring the ascending, that this was coming up. It was like a forewarning. Prepare your heart. Because something is going to depart from you. If you have rejected and rejected and rejected, it's going to leave you. And it's going to be a struggle to get it back. So you got to be who you are. Don't let the spirit leave you. This is a time we got to cling harder to faith than ever before. And those dreams and those visions. And what it was squaring happened to be Vista. Vista is that asteroid, or whatever they call them now, eons, that is connected to Libra. And it was retrograde as well. It's not going to go direct till February, I believe it is. I forgot the exact date. That would happen. But it's giving us awareness of what is to come. And then with Vista and this opposition and the square to Venus over here, these two, all this being fed in, challenges. Remember, squares are challenges or stumbling blocks. Whatever we're trying to build here, and the ascending was like letting us know this is coming. Be prepared, it's coming. You're going to face this challenge. And I kept seeing the same square over and over and over and over and over again. That there is this opposition from Venus over to Vista, which is sort of one of this, I believe it's called the Seven Sisters or somebody that's part of it. That the plan, the goal, your devotion to something, like it's almost like Vista being a service, or being of service to Venus, the goddess of love. So, but what is the devotion there? What is Venus? Venus is that of our capacity to love and about your values. And your attitudes. And right now, with her being there on the 20th in Sagittarius, she's seeking something. She's seeking that purpose, that service. We all have to have a purpose in life. We all have to have a devotion to something in our lives. It's what keeps us motivated. It's what keeps us moving. And if you've got no love in your heart and you don't have no capacity to love others and be service in some way in helping others achieve some sort of dreams or some sort of goal or whatever this is, and you don't have that devotion to it, you're lost. You feel something in you that is lost. It's like I've heard people over the last few days or whatever, where people were like feeling like I've lost something. I just saw, God, about 2 weeks ago, this big music star, rapper, whatever he is, down in, I think it's Brazil or something like that. And anyway, he's really wealthy and long career and all this, and he's just turned himself over to the Lord. I mean, wow. Now, other people can shun that if they want to, but if this is happening with him, and he wants to be a service to other people, because he said whatever he felt like, he had all the fortune, he had all the fame, he had all the cars, all the stuff he had, but he still felt like he didn't have something. Something was missing. And when he finally turned it over, his life over to God, it was like he felt fulfilled. He had a purpose. So if it's happening there, imagine what it can do in your life. To have a goal and a plan, and that you're devoted to it. Last 7 years, I've been hearing people say, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess if he's going around asking little kids what they want to do, they don't even know what they wanted to do. But there needed to be a lot of healing going on here. And Chiron it's a key. Looks like a key, an old key that you put in an old door, like my grandmother's doors. But it's a key that unlocks opportunities. But it's all about health, getting healthy, having a motivation to move towards something here that's healthy, that can turn your life completely around. And what we're moving toward is this full moon that's going to be in Leo, with the sun being in Aquarius. So what are you doing? Are you just going through by the seat of your britches, or, just don't want to be of service to nobody, don't want to, you just all about yourself and blah, blah, blah. If you think that's going to get you somewhere in life, guess what? It's not. It won't. It will not. And I've been seeing a lot of things where, since I've been down and sick and not doing so well, I've been seeing things where it's like my eyes have just been kind of opened up about, having, I remember when I had that purpose in my life, my family was the most important thing to me. My children, my family, my mother, those that I love were the most important thing to me. Until all of a sudden, my world just came tumbling down. Completely. Just one day, it's like somebody flipped a switch and, like, welcome to hell, you know? Come on in for the next 7 years, because you're going to take the ride. And it's not going to be fun. And it was the truth. It wasn't. So, and when a woman, I got to say this, when a woman loses, she feels like she has lost her purpose. A lot of people say, well, it can be the, you know, uh, kids leaving the nest, going on their own lives. That didn't bother me. I was proud of my kids going on, doing what they were doing and starting their own families, and by doing so, they were expanding my life as well. But I wanted good things for them, for all that I loved. I never thought about myself. It was about them and seeing them succeed. And like I said, it was like a light switch one day. Just, it was my 9/11 where the tower came down. Isn't that weird? So I'm looking at this here and I'm like, I'm still transitioning, doing better, a lot better, except, my health wise. I'm getting older though. But I'm learning that I still have a purpose. I just trying to figure out what it is, other than to live in peace, live in love, live in harmony with the world, and still being the woman whose heart is solely after God. And that's all it is. He has answered all my prayers. He's stuck by me through the worst times of my life, and has blessed me many times over. So, I mean, we know that this is the beginning right here. Here is your beginning. So y'all better get prepared, because it's going to be, you got to have the courage. You really got to have the courage to make that decision and change your life. Find your new purpose. Make the impact on other people's lives. Help heal wounds, broken hearts, struggles, but not to sacrifice yourself anymore. Because you got to take care of you as well. And it's not all about me, okay? It's not that. It's where you trying to find that happy medium, where you can be of service to others, but also find that peace and harmony as well in your life. And there it is. Like I said, I've noticed this is going on and going on and going on, and I'm like, what the heck is this all about here? This square. Why is it here? Why is that T-square there? Why is the center on Neptune? It's for us to face some karma, look at our dreams and our visions, look at our purpose and what we really truly believe, and restructure with Saturn, because Saturn is all about restructure, reorganization, getting ourselves together, learning how to love without sacrificing our values, knowing who's real and who's not real. The light's going to be showed on all the cons, all the deception. So if those that's been living that kind of life, whether they've been deceiving themselves or others, or putting out these illusions, trying to make it sound so glamorous, selling the what is it? I got, if you believe a lot of, some things, I've got a bridge over here, I'll sell you, or a lake over here, or an ocean over here, I'll sell you. It's like that. It's coming out of the illusion. And it's not woke, it's awakened. It's the awakening. And I don't believe in the aliens and all that kind of stuff as well. I mean, So, I mean, if it's happened, where's it been all these years? So, I just don't think something that, as they would say, intellectual being wouldn't have already come and conquered us, if that be the case. I mean, you're going to be lied to. You're going to be sold some false dreams here. And that's why you need to wake up. And I've been seeing people standing up left and right, and it's like, wow, y'all go. And people are going to pay for their past mistakes. You got to find out what it is you really truly believe in, and what's real and what's not real. Who's selling you the leprechaun's pot of gold, telling you it's free? Even the leprechaun turns into a monster when you go after other gold. So anyway, we had this on the 20th, okay? So here comes the events that are happening now. We had the sun, and to get where I'm going today, where we're at today, we had the sun ingress finally into Aquarius. At the same time, the moon ingressed into Gemini. But still, there's that ascending that's saying, hey, what's coming up? What's rising? What's on the horizon? This is this Saturn and Pluto energy. It's going in the house of Pisces, and Saturn is in conjunction with the ascending. And this was on the 20th as well. My time, 9:07 in the morning. And Saturn was ruling the day. The next thing we had, like I said, the moon ingressed into Gemini here as well at 8. Well, it ingressed into that before the sun. Whoops. It was at 8:57 is when it ingressed in there right before. It was the first thing that moved, shifted. Then we had the sun move into Aquarius at 9 something. Then after that, we had Pluto on the 20th, same day, at almost 8 o'clock at night. It joined the sun. Still got this square going on, and all of a sudden, it was like that shift happened. We didn't know really what was going on here. And the moon was there at 5 degrees saying, hey, it's changing. The change is here. The wind shifted. And here the ascending, what was rising was Leo, the sun's house, sun's sign, rules Leo. And it was in a quincunx with Pluto and the sun coming up. This was coming up. Like, get it prepared. Change is happening. And we have Uranus retrograde in a quincunx with the south node. Now remember, quincunxes are all about that there's decisions that's got to be made. Adjustments needed between the two energies. This is coming up, so you got to have the courage to make a decision here. To awaken, either wake up or freeze up. Face hell. That was, my light switch moment 7 years ago. That happened to me. Remember I said I had a light switch moment? My whole world just changed? A lot of y'all, your whole world's just fixing to change. And you don't even realize it. That light switch has done flicked on. Because the moon is at 5 degrees, and that's definitely about change. The light bulb done went off above your head. Now, some of you might want to face it, and some of you've got the courage to say, hey, I need to change my life. Because right now, Venus is in a quincunx with the midheaven, meaning that it's up above, and there's something I have to change about my heart. That capacity to feel and love. Not shut it off, that my life is changing. And how it changes is based on you. How authentic are you going to be? Are you going to be honest with yourself? Are you going to be honest with others? Are you going to gather the information you need so you can make the right choices, the right decisions, and live a good life in peace and harmony? Because if you don't, then Pluto's going to put you through hell. It's going to push you and push you and push you in your personality. It's going to test you. It's going to hit. Remember that key, okay, of Chiron and Pluto being the gate of hell. It's like you need to get something right in your life. You're given the key here to get healthy, to make your life more healthy, or face hell, face judgment, face death. You're going to go through a transformation like you have never been. I done been there. I have done been there, and I know what it's like, and it's not easy. And you've got to have strength because Pluto is going to push you, and along with Uranus, that it's going to force you. You rebel against it. You rebel against this change. Say, I'm not changing for nobody. I've heard people say that. I'm not changing for nobody. And I'm like, you're not right. You're not changing for nobody. You're changing for you to be a better human being, being the best you can be, and shining that light. Stop the garbage. Stop the fantasy. Stop the illusions. Get motivated to awaken your mind. The light switch is on now. We ain't talking about Motel 6, okay? It's time for you to awaken. You've been asleep too long. Some of y'all are going to have that moment that you're going to fall. Things are going to get so difficult. And I'm just saying this because I've been there myself. Things are going to get so difficult. And a lot of people that was with me for years that asked me many, many moons ago, when is it going to change? Can't take this anymore. You wouldn't believe the people I heard. I can't take this anymore. I was right there, right along with every one of them, trying to give them hope and faith that, yeah, just hang in there. Please, hang in there. Don't give up. And I went through it. It was so difficult. I was on my knees in my kitchen, crying my eyes out, screaming for God. Do not forsake me. And some of you may have that moment. And that's okay. And it's not, don't be afraid to give the testimony to it. Because all that is God's not going to charge you anything because you know what? His son's done paid the price for you. He gave his only begotten son. So see, even that, the price had to be paid. And it was paid for your sake, for your life. One life given for another. And the only thing that's asked in return is to have faith in me and believe in me. Not me, him, above. Love him with all your heart. Put him before everything else. To glorify you, you have to glorify the Father. And in doing so, he comes back and glorifies you. Like I said, the next thing we have, the big event that happened 22nd. I missed that. I'm sorry. Wasn't here. Is we had, again, the T-square of the moon transiting now into Cancer. And it's still conjunct with Vista. We still have the square. And the moon in opposition to Venus, because Venus is fixing to move as well. She was going into the head of the goat, or the horn on the goat. The moon has left the twins, and now it's activating the full mind, the duality, the whole mind, not just a part of it, all of it. That something is leaving, something is departing. Venus is departing out of something here because she's going out and she's going to move into Capricorn. And this is where there's going to be a stellium of planets in. Anytime you got 3 or more planets in a sign, that's a stellium. And they're all internal. It's Venus, Mercury, Mars. All 3 of them being activated. What you seek is to maybe let something go out of your heart. Let it go, set it free, like a dove. Release it, surrender it. And if it's meant to come back to you, it will. If it wasn't, then it was never meant to be. And that's okay too, and you've got to be okay with that. Everything comes, that's the thing about, doves. When you set them free, they'll go back to their place of their home, their nest. Set the dove free in you. Find the peace. Surrender whatever is troubling you. And search for the peace and the happiness. That dove will carry that troubles, your burdens, and everything away. And it'll replace it with something even better. Purity, a pure heart, a clean heart, a healing for the future. The next big event we had was on the 23rd, when Venus did move into Capricorn, the horn of the goat. Not the lamb, the goat. Remember, Aries is known as the ram, the I am. Okay? But Capricorn is known as the horn of the goat, the horned goat. There's going to be a battle here. But there's also a healing after a battle. Time to heal the wounds. Again, we're seeing the T-square here that took place. Again, it has to deal with Neptune. But here is the service, being of service. Or what you maybe were being a service to is no longer there anymore. I mean, look at it. This is all mutable signs. Every last one of them. Gemini, mutable. Virgo, mutable. Pisces, mutable. Is I think. To Virgo is I work. To Pisces is we care. So we have to think about how to work at something because we care. And we have to heal. the wounds. There's another little story behind that, but I'll just leave that out. Just came to me and I was like, wow, okay. But you see that square that was here with Venus, well, it's still there to Vista, but the emphasis put on being of service. How can I think to work at something because I care? Maybe we need to tell more people we care. I was of service to something here because I did care. Like a mother that loves a child from the time of birth and protects them and takes care of them and teaches them. Mothers and parents don't do that if they don't care. And for those that don't have them, you have my sympathy. Because I'm seeing where some people are looking at something here like nobody cares. Reach out today and tell someone you do care. Make sure they're okay. Help someone today. Be of service to someone in some way, capacity, or form. Because I'm going to show you something in a minute that is going to be a shocker that I saw sometime back in the beginning of January. I saw this coming and I'm like, okay, better get it together. And the next thing we have is we have the moon on, let's go back up to what I'm seeing today, which is what, the 24th? Yeah. That I saw this morning. It began at 4:58 in the morning. Bam. You see that? You see what's happening here? Look at this. You see those T-squares? There's 10 of them. With an opposition of the moon to Mars. Trying to motivate to do something here. Mars is an action taker. It's exalted while it is in Capricorn. Be cautious of those that may want to attack you because you're trying to be a good person. You know, evil's out there. Evil is definitely out there. And it's the lunar nodes, the south node and the north node. Connected with this moon. And these are squares. Look at it. It's all nothing but T-squares. It's like challenge. We are going to be challenged today in a big way to overcome life's difficulties. And if you notice all this, and I'm just going to point this out to you real quick, all this has to do is with Aries. Let me take that off there a minute. Has to do with Aries, has to deal with Cancer, has to deal with Libra, has to deal with Capricorn. What do all these have in common? What do they all have in common? They're cardinal signs. The I am is Aries. Who are you? I am this. This is who I am. The I am. And if any of you know scripture, you'll know that God told Moses when he said, "Who do I tell the people when they ask me that sent me to free the Hebrews from Egypt? What do I say to them? And God told him, you tell him, I am. And they knew what that meant. So Aries is the I am. The head of the ram. What do we have here? In Cancer, I feel. What do we have in Libra? We unite. And what do we have in Capricorn? We control. We, the people. I am, you as individuals, feel united to take back your control. Because we cannot stand divided anymore. And we have to service humanity. We have to help one another. We have to love one another. We have to seek the justice for all people. I don't care who you are, where you come from, what nation you're in. People of the world have to unite. If you don't, you're going to be lost forever in hell. I mean, the message is pretty darn clear to me, and you need to take some sort of dynamic action at this time to show humanity that you care, who you are. I am as authentic as I can be. I am as real as I can be. And I feel. This is what I feel. I will show you how I feel. I'm angry. I'm sad. I'm remorseful. I'm grieving. I'm this. I'm that. People are coming out and they're speaking. They're giving their testimonies to say, I've had enough. They're tired of being put through hell by their leaders, by people they trusted that they thought cared about them. I will not die for someone else anymore. It is not me. Someone already died for you and your sins. This is a day to really take that dramatic action. And the next one we have here is dealing with, now look at this. Remember, there's an opposition here. Some of you, people are going to fight this. They're going to fight it. We have it with the South Node, Mars, Chiron, and the Moon. Our hearts have got to change. We have to finally feel, and it's okay to feel. So it's all right to, we can't go around and say that, people don't have a right to be angry or upset because they've been lied to or they've been done wrong and they were told the truth. It's okay that you're upset about it. You should be. There's an old saying of don't do to others that you don't want it done to you. And there's a lot of people that may end up living that karma. And still, again, look at it. All of it's still here in that cardinal signs. People are getting tired of being controlled and manipulated and abused and whatever else. They're tired of feeling it. And right now is the day to really feel the compassion, to be motivated, to say, or to apologize. If you've done someone wrong, say, I'm sorry. I've done it for years to have said, I'm sorry. If I hurt you, I'm sorry. I didn't know I did. But then if you've hurt me, do a sincere apology and I'm sorry. For any harm that I've caused you. I've heard the words I'm sorry used in a way that is just like a euphemism. It's just like, oh, just say it, you know? But don't have it really in your heart. Have the empathy of what you've done to someone else by your actions. There's the key to unlock and admit to yourself what you've done wrong to someone else and be sincere. And with your own actions, show it. Admit to yourself. Because this ascending is coming up today. This is 4 a.m. And it's nothing but T-squares. Straight down the line. And they're all divided up for you to see it. The moon in opposition here, but the moon in a square to the south node. Past actions. If you've given somebody chance after chance after chance, and they just totally obliterated you, they did not care about your feelings, they walked on you, they treated you so cruelly. I mean, I've had it happen to me, but it's not going to break my heart, and it's not going to break my strength. Because I have a faith in me that cannot be destroyed. Won't allow it to be destroyed by somebody else like that. I'm not going to seek vengeance. Vengeance is not mine. It's not. The next T-square we got is the south node in opposition with Chiron. Chiron in opposition to that south node. It's all dealing with the moon here. Squaring the moon. The next one we have is with the moon in opposition with Mars and Mercury. Some people are going to be opposed. They're going to probably even lie to you. It's like a tug of war, trying to get the truth out of somebody. And if they're not going to tell you the truth, let them be. Just get away from them. They don't want to heal nothing? Fine. Bye. Why would you want somebody around that wouldn't do something right here? To let them keep making you suffer. It's not right. It's not. And the next one we have is with Chiron and Mercury and Mars to the midheaven. What's above? As above, so below. What is Capricorn? It's the horn of the goat. It's to hurt, to fight, stubborn, determined, control. No one controls you in this world but the Almighty God. And yes, we do have to live by the laws that govern us. We can't just run wild doing what we do. That wildness that's been going on, and destruction and chaos and everything else, and hurting children and all this, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And we, as good people with good hearts, have the empathy within us to say, we're not going to allow you to do that anymore. You've got to take your power back. This, like I said, this is the day, folks. This is the day that you need to change your heart for your future. Gather the information you need. What can I do? Because right now, with this moon going through Cancer and the void of course, you may succeed, then again, you may not. This message may not get out there. Please share this video, the link. The message may not get out there because Uranus is saying it's stationary now. And as a planet sets stationary, it becomes more and more powerful. And with the moon being in the void of course, you may not succeed, but then again, you will. But nothing can come against you. That don't mean you go out there and rob somebody. That don't mean you go out there and hurt somebody. You stand up for yourself. And you do it in a way of standing strong and authentic and telling the truth. The internet exploded, and I'm sure all of y'all know about this. Cat Williams, which I adore Cat Williams as a comedian. He's really funny. I mean, he just broke the internet with the truth. It's time for people to start talking the truth. The door is opening up. The key is opening the doors for us all to speak the truth. And anybody that wants to stand up and hurt someone else in their life and destroy their life, they don't have that right. You destroy your own life by your own actions. You don't go get to flip the switch on somebody without being honest about it and sincere. If you just flip the switch on somebody and did what you did, that's not fair to that person. They didn't know that you were doing this. You didn't have a conversation with them, did you? I'm talking to people right now that are doing wrong. That you're attacking people in a way that is wrong. Just to destroy somebody's life. All these people that got that cancel culture that was going on. Men or women cheating on their spouses. You didn't have the gall or the audacity to say, hey, we need to sit down and have a conversation about our relationship. You couldn't even give that person that kind of decency. I mean, hey. And people were, like I said, with that cancel culture that was out there because they were supposedly woke. Oh, I'm woke. I know. No, you don't know. You're brain dead. Only thing that woke up on you, you opened your eyes and that was it. You didn't open your mind. You damn sure didn't open your ears and listen and seek out the information. No, you went on what someone else was saying. You believed that garbage. You believed that illusion that you were fed. For what? Money? I mean, there's people out there right now saying, one of my favorite singers is Jelly Roll, and his song "Save Me." You can check it out on YouTube, and there's other recordings, even the Angels Cry, all of it. Like he says, it ain't for the money, it's for the love of being of service to others. And that's exactly what he's doing. He sat before Congress. and told the truth. Even his life, as difficult it was. Be honest with people. There's you're better off in the long run. And then we have the South Node, Mars, and Chiron. It's time to take that action to be honest about something. We have the moon, Chiron, Mars. A purpose. You want a purpose in life? Here you go. The universe is showing you, here's your purpose. Stop believing in illusions. Find here's your purpose, folks. It's the capacity to love your fellow man and care. Now, we're looking at what's going on here. Some of this is mutable. To survive. It's a survival instinct. But you have to believe in something. Believe in yourself. Nobody can teach you that. Nobody can teach you how to be strong. It's through your adversities in life and your difficulties and your challenges you go through that you face every day and your own actions. You got to learn from those. I have spent my entire life doing something that I should have questioned, but being young and immature, I didn't. And so when I went through what I went through, I learned from that. And it's like, I ain't doing that again. And still open my heart up to love again. Doesn't matter how many times I got hurt. Except this last time. Because I loved too much. Way too much. I loved my family way too much. Because it was instilled in me that family was important. And even at times, calling my family out when they were wrong. Not taking sides. Saying, no, you did that person wrong. You need to go apologize. No, you're living a wrong life. You're living a simple life. I can't, I don't want to be around that. I don't want to be a part of it. Because I knew in my younger days what it got me. Got me nowhere, but in misery. I quit drinking in my mid-20s. Or did a little bit in my late 20s. But was never really a hard drinker, not really a drug person, or anything like that. I mean, it's just not my thing. I get high on life. That's my biggest high, is life. And if I can help someone in some way, I'll help. If it's just that they just need an ear. But this is going on today. This is what's happening. Because this is the 24th. And this is the day the divine is showing us what's to come. He rules. We don't. He is the number one ruler. And with this moon at 5:23 this morning, sextiling Uranus, that power. But every time I think about it, I keep thinking about that song, "You Got the Power." And I hope that sticks in y'all's head today. Somebody might need that save me. And then somebody you can't save. There's some people you just cannot save. Because that midheaven is now conjunct with the South Node. Somebody needs to look at their past actions and what they're doing here. And look at the conjunctions that are happening here. You know, the conjunction with the Sun and Pluto, now in Aquarius. The conjunctions of Mars with Mercury to join together. Thinking for yourself, doing what you know is the right action that you need to take, that you need to work toward this future in a better way. Correct any wrongs that maybe you've done, make things right in your life. And then the ascending conjunct with Venus. It's time now to open the heart and have that capacity not to control somebody, not to have power over someone, but to be authentically what's real in your heart of who you are. You know, there's things, like I said, highs to me are things in life. That's a high for me. Sitting in nature, listening to a bird song, listening to it sing, watching birds, watching children smile. There's no more joy than to hear a baby's laughter. It's contagious. We're seeing children. And to see a child cry, I feel for that child. I ache for it. I want to pick it up, wipe its tears away, and say it's going to be okay, and give them a hug. And ask, what's wrong? Sometimes even as adults, we need that. When a person cries and you turn away from it or you ignore them, their tears, and you have no compassion for that person, you're evil. I'm going to tell you right to you. I would tell you right to your face, you're evil. You are nothing but evil. That you don't have an empathy for another person. And I've actually seen people be evil. I mean, literally been evil as I don't know what. As hell itself. At almost 5 o'clock this afternoon, this is going to be, for this day, you're going to have to work through these. Because this first T-square you got, I mean, we've reduced it. I mean, we've gone through what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 T-squares. Down to by 5 o'clock. This is 1758, so that's 4. Oh no, that's what? That's almost 6 o'clock. And Mercury's ruling the day. And the sun's going to rule the night. And remember, every hour a planet has its time between certain times of the day. And at this time, that'd be the 13th hour. Kind of an odd number, isn't it? Something's going to be illuminated here. We've reduced it down now to 3. We've gone from 10 to 3 now. And now it's Jupiter. Expansion, growth. It's the sun in a square to Jupiter. It's a square from the ascending, that this is coming up. This is going to be on the horizon. That Jupiter is coming up. So our capacity to explore, to seek, to expand, to grow, and protect, because that's what Jupiter does. It's a protection as well. And knowing by the end of the day, if you've been of service to others in a good way, and you've been honest and you've been true and not been greedy or any of the other stuff or done anybody any wrong, you can kind of feel somewhat good that you've learned something. Because look at where they're at. They're all in fixed signs. Something you changed about you. Maybe a habit you didn't even know you had, that you need to get rid of in relationship with other people, with society. Again, it goes back to the cardinal signs. That's going exactly here to Mars. You can sit back and think about things, about what you've done, what actions you've done today. Did you do something here to make something right, to heal something for the future? Or are you still opposed? Like, I didn't. Yeah, I am so sick and tired of hearing those people that say, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. You know what? You're like a little brat that needs its butt tore up and sent to your room and stay there till you learn what you done. Learn your lessons. Because it ain't getting you nowhere. And then the last square goes back, that's facing the midheaven. Because what's ascending is Leo. Remember when I said the hour is ruled by the sun? Something being illuminated. That's coming up. As above, so below. And this moon, well, that's dealing with Pluto. In opposition to moon, in opposition to Pluto. Don't let hell in your life. Don't. It's not worth it. Close the door on it. Then we have it's preparing us for this full moon that's going to come. Because I'm telling y'all, hold on one second. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I had to go in there. I put a pot of beans on early this morning. Oh my God, they're good. Glad I stopped and checked them real quick. I'd have scorched beans. Anyway, today, I think we're all going to know really who's in charge. The next thing we have the moon. Let's see, we got the moon. Trying to look at this minute here real close. We have the moon that's going to go into, oh, wait a minute, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that, I'm looking at the wrong thing, you guys. Oh, was that Venus? Oops. Venus moving into on the 23rd. Like I said, we had the moon. Moon's in Cancer now. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, today's the 24th. Yeah, the moon is in Cancer until the 25th, which is tomorrow. And the moon, like I said, is the ruler of Cancer. And the sun being in Aquarius is debilitated because it's opposite of its sign. Remember, anytime a planet is opposite the sign that it rules, it goes in detriment. And then the moon is ruling here, so it's a little, the emotions are going to be kind of strong here. Then we have Mars exalted in Capricorn. As long as it sits in Capricorn, it's exalted. And we also have Neptune, which is the big ruler here, been sitting in its house for a long time now. And we still have this T-square here that's dealing with Vista. This is going to be on the 23rd. I'm kind of giving you a little bit, yesterday with this opposition and the squares from with Neptune. Don't fall, like I said, don't fall for the illusions. Don't do something here because you can see that where Neptune is sitting at is in the third decant, which is Mars, ruled by Mars. And the term belt here is Mars as well. So it's all about Mars. What action you take, think before you act. And this could even be about a dream you have. I'm just going to put that in. But again, it's all about the mutable signs. How do I be of service in some way to someone? Without thinking about oneself. Without having some sort of hidden agenda or something on the back behind that you're hiding. Do something here that can help someone, but do it with the intent of just doing something good for someone else, making some sort of change for someone else. Then we're going to have tomorrow on the 25th, we're going to have the moon now move into Leo. It's coming out of the void. It's moving into Leo and is setting us up for that full moon that is going to be on the 25th. at 12:54 p.m. and it's going to be let's see. Let me go back up. There we go. And it's going to be at 5 degrees and 14. And look what it's all pointing to. We got these 4 squares, all of them leading mostly to Jupiter here and what action we take. And this will be tomorrow of what's going to happen. Look at that long void of course. But this moon's going to be in opposition to the sun, and it's going to be in opposition to the midheaven. Because, some people are going to be like, well, I just don't feel like it. I don't want to be a service to nobody. And it's, again, about change. Remember when I said when it came into Gemini and it was at 5 degrees? Get ready because it's changing. The change is going to happen. And this Uranus is stationary, and it's going to go direct. Actually, it's going to go direct. It begins its stationary period on the 23rd at 9:22 at night, Eastern time, and it's going to go direct on January the 30th. So it's going to take it 7 days. Again, divine intervention, something here. And we also have the moon in a quincunx to Saturn. Again, change. Change taking place. Open ourselves up for the capacity to love again. If you've been doing the healing work, and that's the big thing. If you've been taking the action to communicate, seek out what information has to be done, take back your own control, your own power in your life. Do not let others change you. If you know you need to change your life, don't change for other people. I mean, how many times we've heard in relationships people say, well, ye don't change. Why would you go into a relationship with somebody to say you love them? You love them because of who they were, who they are. Why do you go in with the expectations of changing someone? If they're fake and phony, guess what? It will come out in the end. And you'll be able to see it. If they are a master manipulator, it's going to show. They can't keep the act up. Nobody with evil intent or anything like that can keep an act up that long. They may be smooth and they may get away with some things, and maybe sometimes we condone it, another person's behavior, because we think, well, maybe they'll wake up. Maybe they will see what they're doing. Maybe they want to really change their life. But don't change. If I had a relationship with somebody, I'm not in the relationship to change them. I'm in them because I love them. I want to see them grow. I want to see them expand. I want to see them doing good. And if I've had just a little small part of that, that makes me feel good. But when somebody comes in and they just use you because they know you're going to do something for them because you love them and all this kind, stop the illusions. And it's very true. Sometimes love is blind. We can't see past what our heart feels. And we want the best for somebody. And believe you me, if you've been trying to express that to someone and say, I don't want you to change. I want you to change for you. So you can live a better life, a happy life, a peaceful life, a contented life. But you can't have that with people. Another good example. Someone might say to you and have said to you, Well, I just, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. And I don't want this and I don't want that. You know what? That's hogwash. I just want to live in peace and harmony and blah, blah. But yet they're the one that creates the chaos to another person. You think the other person wants to fight and argue? No. They want to have a conversation, maybe. They want to get along. What is the problem? Let's talk about it. Let's get it worked out. Let's put it on the table. That's where people have to start doing this in relationship. Don't go into a relationship seeing a little flaw here or there and think, well, you need to change. You need to learn to pick your clothes up. You need to learn to do this. I'm not your mama and blah, 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 and all this. Well, is it going to hurt you? Just pick it up. Go put it in the thing. By telling someone, I would appreciate it if you would pick your clothes up and put it. There's a way you can put something to somebody without being hateful or disrespectful or causing whatever. Maybe then they learn something. No. Girl, women, let me say something right from the get-go. Your husbands are not your fathers. Husbands, men, women are not your mother. In order for you to get to that person or get that relationship going, you had to communicate. You had to speak, you had to listen. With nothing more in mind but just to get to know that person. To see, does that person share the same values you do? Is that person driven to work toward a life of peace and harmony? Or are they just greedy and just want what they want? You got to ask yourself these questions. Because if you're doing it for all the other reasons, and you're in a wrong relationship. Really. And I'm going to tell you all, with all these squares I just showed you that's happening, and these challenges, you're going to probably see the ugly side of other people. Really. Because squares are difficulties. And it's all up to all of us on how we handle those squares shows what we're made of on the inside. I would rather be known as a person who told the truth, who was faithful, who was honorable, someone who liked helping people. But I'm a firm believer now that people have to kind of pick themselves up too. You can't do everything for everybody. Because all that's going to get you is wore out and tired. And sometimes it causes a lot of resentment. When you see that it's not both putting all the effort in. Let me tell you something. Those days of relationships of where I don't care if it's in business or if it's in personal or whatever, friendships or whatever. If both aren't putting it, and even your relationships, parents to children and children to parents, if all aren't giving 100% in, then you ain't got a relationship, okay? Point blank, period. You don't have a relationship. Those days of, oh, I give 50, you give 50, and we're doing you. No, it's 100%. I've heard people make comments of, well, phone works two ways. That is the most disrespectful thing a child can say to a parent. I would never think of telling my mother, well, the phone works two ways. You can call me. No, you know what I do? If I haven't heard from my mother, I pick up the phone and I call her. And I said, well, I haven't heard from you, and I'm wondering if you're all right. You doing okay? How's your day been? How you been? That's showing my mother respect and love. Not sit there and tell her, well, you could call me from time to time. I mean, that's so disrespectful to someone who did so much for me growing up and taught me so much in life. Both my parents. Not to say they didn't whip our butts when we needed it. Sometimes we got blamed for things we didn't do either. So, you know. But I feel like we're heading for this full moon on the 25th. And it's about relationships. So it's up to you. Do you want your life to change? Then you got to change it. And don't change for nobody. You change you to what you want to be. What is your purpose? Where's your peace and harmony? How can you be of service, but yet not get taken advantage of? People got to do their own work. It's not somebody else's job to make sure that you stay happy. Your happiness relies within you. It's not somebody else's job for you to change some maybe bad habit you have. At least, number one, the first thing is to admit you got a bad habit. Number two, can you live with it? Can somebody else live with it? Is it causing you a lot of problems? Is it producing stumbling blocks in your way to a more happier future? These are things you got to ask yourself. And you got to work on it. And yeah, there may be some restrictions here and there and limitations of what you can do and what you can't do. But you can deal with those things that you can change, and those things you can't change, they'll take care of themselves. And having a lot of patience. So anyway, that's what I got for y'all. Like I said, you can probably hear a lot of stuff going on that's going to be said, in the readings with Tara and all, that's saying, hey, we're at this from the 20th on. We're in this big shift now that's happening. And yeah, y'all want to change? Well, here it is. Get ready for it, because it's going to be a doozy. And it ain't over. Because every time we got something that goes on in the universe that changes, it just doesn't just happen like it does here on Earth in a clock time. It's a lot slower. Other than our thoughts and the moon and our feelings, Mercury and the moon are two of the fastest planets, or I can't say the moon is a planet. But Mercury, the mind's constantly thinking. The moon is about our emotions and our feelings and what we feel, and they increase and they decrease. It's like the water, the ocean. It goes out, it comes in. Something comes up, it gets real intense, and then it goes out, washes away. Maybe we need to put those troubles out there in the sea and just let it go. Whatever it is that you can't change, you can't do anything about, toss it in the air. Give it to the universe. Give it to God. He'll work miracles in your life. He has in mind. And that's the biggest message I can give you. And during your difficult times, pray for strength and knowledge. That's two important things. So y'all have a good day, and I will see y'all again later. And thanks for joining me. Like I said, please share the link on the video. Share it with a friend, family. Say hi to them from me. Tell them come and join with the rest of us. Like I said, you all know I'm dealing with some health issues right now. And I'm just praying for good healing. And I know it will be given, and I've already given thanks to the Lord because I know He's going to do what needs to be done. He'll heal what needs to be healed when it needs to be healed. He's healed my heart. He's healed my soul. He's cleansed me. He's renewed me. And all those things, I'm grateful. Like I said, I'm a woman after God's heart, not after no man's heart, because I know He will never fail me. So with that being said, y'all take care, and I will see y'all on the other side. Bye for now.